Greetings and welcome to the Arcade Raiders podcast. This is episode 2, friends. Wow, what a journey. You know, it seems like only last week we were starting with episode 1. Ah, good times. We are starting with last week. That was last week, yes. We've gone a long ways, right, Burger?
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't here, was I?
I think so.
Maybe listen to our podcast. You'll find out.
Anyway, guys, this is what happens when you give Mixer partners a microphone and an audience. I am Skyrobi, one of the hosts of this podcast. With me to help deliver some shenanigans are my good friends AttackBurger and ShakkaPanda. Fellas, how are you?
Not too bad.
Doing well.
Perfect. Well, it's good to hear from you guys. Have y'all had a pretty good week?
Yeah, man. It's been a good time. Lots of fun. Nice. Kicking ass, taking names. Really busy. Fun stuff, man.
I've just been doing stuff and things, and hopefully some things are good.
Yeah. Work's been really busy this week. I felt really good this week. I think everybody I've talked to this week has been in a good mood and a good time. So let's just talk about some stuff and let's get this going. Before we want to start, I want to give a quick shout out to our music person. We have a friend that has graciously allowed us to use his music. Fish Hands, thank you so much for letting us use your music. You can find him on Spotify at Fish Hands or on Twitter at Fish Hands Music. We really appreciate him letting us use his music for this podcast.
I love his whole beginning guitar solo we got for that intro. It just feels so awesome, dude.
Yeah, it sounds good. I listened to it last week and really enjoyed a lot of the music stuff in there. It was really solid.
Yeah. He's a pretty chill person. He just likes kind of making music on his own little mixer. He has a little PC set up with guitar. He taught himself how to play guitar through Guitarsmith.
Dang, homie.
Yeah, we've got resources these days. You can pretty much point yourself towards something you want to learn, and if you're diligent and hardworking, you can get there. You don't need any help.
100%, and he's really good at it. He's really good at making up lyrics and all that good stuff. So,
right on.
So, guys, this week I've just felt kind of reinvigorated with all the good news going on. I just feel kind of good. Like as a streamer, you hear news, you hear happenings. Does that stuff just ever make you happy and want to spark your drive?
Oh yes, dude. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tend to be a little bit more sort of internal focused than external focused, but yeah, definitely. If things are going smoothly or some exciting new developments on the platform, things like that, it definitely fires me up. I'm definitely practically vibrating with excitement after what was announced at the time of this recording yesterday.
Oh, dude, same, man. I read an announcement. I was like, okay, I think we're now set for a while. We are good. Let's kick some more ass.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we'll get into all of that soon, but yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, 100%. I just felt, hearing from everybody's success yesterday and hearing all these news and the things, I got really excited, and I was, let's do this. Let's do some good stuff and let's create some good stuff. So there's a ton to talk about this week. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. The first segment every week we're going to take a look at the news that's going in our gaming world. So now it's time for some Arcade Raiders news with AttackBurger. All right, AttackBurger, what do you have for us?
Oh, we got some stuff in the news this week, guys. First, some actual AR news. That's right. Arcade Raiders are back. Doing extra live, guys. That's right. August 17th and 18th. You'll be seeing, us three guys, and also Tim if he shows up. So that'll be pretty sweet. No set schedule on that yet, so stay tuned next week for the whole schedule. You'll know a little more what's going on.
Very excited.
We're streaming that on Mixer, correct?
Yeah.
On D-Live, of course.
Oh, dude, totally D-Live, man. We're going to completely switch sounds here. Surprise, AR's now on D-Live, and we went to a few other sites like Caffeine. Might as well. Caffeine, the leader of I don't know what they do. I'm just kidding. There's probably some good people on Caffeine. But let's go to the next story. Guys, the Pokemon Go Championships taking place August 16th, and usually there's 3 main tournaments. You got your basic card game. I'm assuming most of you guys played that one, right?
Yeah, I played Pokemon a long time ago.
Pokemon Go card game? Wait, what?
Pokemon card game. You guys played that one?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All the energy cards. Okay. Yeah. Then you got the Poke-Ekin tournament, which is the Pokemon fighting game. I'm not sure versus that one. And then we got Sun and Moon, I guess, for another year. No love for Let's Go Pikachu. However, the Pokemon Company wants you not to forget about one game they made. That's right, Pokemon Go Championships are gonna be a thing. I'm waiting for those. Oh no, why, God, why? I don't know why, but so they're revealing this week that it's going to be a PvP tournament. They already pre-selected a few folks to join this tournament and one walk-on from who's actually attending this event. I'm preparing to hear all your crying and oh no's. And where's my invite? I'm Team Instinct. The hell? No love for us?
Yeah.
It's amazing that game is still going, considering how not like Pokemon it is. You know, I can remember when it first came out, I enjoyed it as an excuse to wander around and get some exercise, but I very quickly realized that this is totally not scratching any Pokemon itch whatsoever. That the battles aren't the way that I want them to be. You can't even battle your friends when you first got started. The only way you could do it is at the Pokestops, the gyms, and even then it's basically just just tapping your screen a whole bunch really fast. You know, it's just how is this still a thing? You know?
Yeah.
Well, there was a big update, I think, last year to add in team battle or people, which is nice, but it's still tapping your phone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, yes, they're adding new things in. You've got multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the actual minute-to-minute experience of the game is still super basic and totally does not scratch anything close to a Pokemon itch. I mean, the entire purpose of Pokemon is that rock, paper, scissors game of, well, this is good against these kind of Pokemon, and these Pokemon are good against these kind of Pokemon, but they're weak against those, and having to manage all of that and switch out your Pokemon. That's what Pokemon is. That's why we haven't seen a Pokemon main, big 3D game where it's an action adventure game, something like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, but you're playing as a Pokemon trainer and you can take over the Pokemon and fight in battles in this big 3D. I mean, the reason why we're never going to see anything like that is the entire purpose of Pokemon, the entire deal, the gimmick of it at its core is that rock, paper, scissors combat. And it's so strange that Pokemon Go is we're not going to even do that. Meh. It's what?
Yeah, it's definitely like you said. We started it. It was great. We played for 2 weeks straight. Oh, we see the exercise pitches from this. My son was probably 10 at the time, so it was really cool to have that. He would walk around with our phones, and we do from time to time. Every now and then, his buddies will get together and say, "Hey, let's go to the local university and walk around." But I just don't understand the whole PvP thing here. I'm not quite sure about the whole tournament. I mean, it obviously sounds fun. I'm sure that's going to be a really good time getting all these people together and running around and doing this tournament. It looks like it's going to be the World Championships for Pokemon or in Washington, D.C., but this one's going to take place all over the world.
Nice. Well, I mean, the community side of Pokemon Go has always been the shining achievement of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But this Pokemon Go tournament is going to be taking place in D.C. as well, along with the other tournaments. So, I mean, there's real on one stage, right? There's two guys standing their phone. It's and we got Sunday Moon on this side. Holy crap! These tight moves right here, and then they got two guys on their phones tapping slowly with the fedoras on. I'm assuming they're wearing fedoras at this point because you might as well. Let me imagine these two guys. We got Lord Waifu versus Neckbeard Almighty. I'm sorry,
it could possibly be the worst esports experience just standing there and watching them.
I'd rather watch Hearthstone, but that's me.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We can start that story. So, with Quake on ending last week, we got some big Doom news. They're bringing back Doom 1, Doom 2, and Doom 3 to our modern systems, which is cool. Have you guys played Doom yet?
I have not.
The original Doom? Yes. Yes, definitely.
Oh, the original Doom.
On a PC back in the day. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On the floppy disks that you got,
the floppy disks.
Floppy disk.
The shareware version? Y'all didn't have 1,000.
Shareware floppy disk, right? With the phone call. You got to make the phone call. And yep.
Yeah.
OG, man. Classic idsoft.
Yeah.
And I was always that kid that couldn't afford the full software, so I could only play the first level. So I just play the first level over and over and over again.
Dude, that's how it was back in the day on gaming on PCs, especially as a kid. You would get access to. I remember getting these discs that just had a huge amount of demos.
Yes.
Yeah. There would be a couple you would map out that I would really like, and I would just play them over and over and over and over again.
Duke Nukem.
Oh, Duke Nukem.
Yeah, that was one.
Dude.
Yeah.
Commander
so what
Keen.
about Doom?
So
yeah. So it's coming to where? What?
I'm panicked. But there was one that slipped under our radar, but Peggy, the rating system in Europe, actually picked it up. They're bringing over Doom 64 to PC and PS4. They got a rating on Peggy. So that means why? We could be seeing the greatest Doom of all time, my first Doom, Doom 64, coming to a new console. We haven't seen a port for this game ever. This is our first
Is
time.
there any difference on Doom 64 to the original Doom? I thought it was just a port of the original Doom to the N64.
It's more challenging. It's a little bit different overall.
Oh,
Art
cool.
style's different.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We haven't. This game has been released in 1997, so you guys get a little backstory here, and we haven't seen a port since. No ports whatsoever. I'm kind of excited for this. This is the first Doom I'm actually excited for. It's like, okay, I feel my 8-year-old burger inside of me. Well, take that as it will. Please take that as it will. I'm innocent here.
The burger juice inside is bubbling.
I'm this is like my first shooter, which I got into. I wasn't a big 007 guy. I was a big Doom guy back in the day. Yeah, little Doom guy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played Doom 64. I was all in on GoldenEye. All in.
Oh yeah.
Well, your parents loved you.
Yes, they did.
Nice. Yeah, I was telling my son the other day, I was showing him Doom, and he was like, "What is this garbage?" And I was like, every person that likes first-person shooters should play Doom Classic just to see where it all came from. You know what I'm saying? This should be part of everybody's collection.
Do you feel the same way about Wolfenstein 3D?
Oh yeah, I mean Wolfenstein 3D, it's another one. All those, Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, even Duke Nukem. That was another classic. So I'm trying to convince my son that these classics are still good. They're still funny. They're still silly. They're not as flashy, of course, but this is where everything started. And I try to show him these old games. So I was really excited when they came up on the Switch. Was it last week, I believe? Yeah. So Doom Classic 2 and 3 showed up on the Switch after QuakeCon. So he was kind of excited and kind of curious to see what's going on with the whole Doom idea.
Nice. I think that something that you can do if people are struggling to appreciate Doom in the modern age, that one of the best things you can do is look up a little bit of how the game came together, the tech behind it, because the game's not actually 3D. It's all just smoke and mirrors to make it feel 3D, even though it looks and everybody thought that it was 3D. It's fascinating to find out how they actually did all that stuff.
I thought it was 3D. Why would you lie to me, Shaka?
I'm not lying to you. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to look it up as we talk. What the particular style of rendering was, but it's a very special way of doing things that essentially tricks us into thinking that it looks 3D, but it's not quite actually that way. It's a fascinating thing to look up. And I'm sorry I can't conjure from my memory the name of the particular technology that it innovated for that particular game, but it's crazy. The game essentially is just a giant flat image that is then interpreted by the engine and then displayed in a way that occurs as 3D, but it's completely not 3D. It's fascinating. And watching information about how that came together, and there's lots of great videos on YouTube about it. Just type in, Doom 1 tech or Doom 1 engine or something, and you'll find just a laundry list of stuff, and there's lots of interesting videos about it. And I think going into the original game with that in mind actually makes it feel 10 times more fascinating, because you've kind of looked under the hood a little bit and appreciate what it did and what it began without actually starting the 3D game. The original 3D game, really, in at least from id, was actually Quake. That was the first actually 3D, with models and actually a 3D game. Until then, they were faking it with this incredibly brilliant engine of theirs, with Wolfenstein and then eventually Doom. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I never knew about that. That means something I'm kind of taking note here to go check out those videos and see about how it's made. That's neat to know that video game history.
And if one knows what it's called, please post it somewhere we can find it, because I'm kind of curious who it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let's continue on the next story, guys. So the secret is out there, guys. The secret to being an epic gamer and an epic streamer is out there. Oh, we're going to talk about him again, but we're talking about the first time, guys. Ninja is writing a book.
Writing a
book. The book is entitled "Get Good: The Ultimate Guide to Gaming." The giant how-to book of topics like building a perfect game PC, practicing our purpose, developing strategies, improving your gamer sense, whatever the hell that is, like a spider sense. Pull together the right team, stream with skill, and form a community on Twitch. Jokes, and much more. I thought the whole thing was gonna be a pop-up book at one point, but it does look like a good read. Have you checked it out yet?
I have not, but it sounds interesting. I don't know if I'll ever get into that, just because I mean, I'd be curious about his perspective on building a community on Twitch. But other than that, I'm not really a competitive gamer. You know, I like to think that I'm competent at most things, and you could kind of sit me down and put controller, keyboard, mouse, whatever, what have you, in my hands, and you know, in a reasonable amount of time, I'll be competent at the game. You know, competent to good. But you know, I don't buy into the idea of treating a video game like a skill that you need to grind out like you are preparing for the Olympics. Because what that requires you to do is play one game over and over and over and over and over and go super duper deep. And video gaming to me, I don't know about you guys, video gaming to me is recreation. You know, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be escapism. Sometimes it's challenging recreation, but it's still recreation. And there's so much to see and so much to do and so much to experience and just there's so much to gaming, and it's such a drag to start to treat gaming like, you know, like a sport. To me personally, it's lovely that esports is flourishing. It's great for the industry. It's an influx of money for us, and it makes everything more legitimate. And it actually is very helpful for anybody that's in any part of the industry whatsoever, even if you don't happen to patronize esports. But at the end of the day, you know, to be actually into esports and all the things that he's talking about there, because that's all very real stuff. I mean, they call it Cyber Athlete League for a reason. It is absolutely. You know, it requires, you know, I had a friend who athlete league, and he was doing CSGO. He had a team. They would meet like several nights a week for like 3 hours, and they would run plays. Like they would literally be like, okay, we're going to go to bomb site A, and this person's supposed to peel off around here and throw a flashbang over that wall. This person's supposed to run up around here. Then we're going in like this sort of triangular shape. And I mean, like they would run plays, and like that's cool, and it's cool in like a whoa, that's neat, that's intense sort of perspective. But are we allowed to cuss on this podcast? Sure. But fuck that as a recreational. Like, get out of here with that shit. Come on, man. I don't want to play the same dumb game 5 hours a day, 4 days a week with the same people, not even playing the game, just practicing for me. Like, get out of here. Come on. This is freaking recreation, son of a bitch. So like, but that again, that's totally my personal, like what gaming means to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like a book about esports is about as interesting as a book about soccer or football or whatever. Like I don't care. But I would be very interested to read that like one piece at the end that you mentioned about building a Twitch community, because even just to hear his inside perspective on how he came up over there would be totally fascinating. Yeah, it would be totally fascinating to see, because there's always like little nuggets in someone's come up, because this is such the Wild West still, content creation. You know, like this is probably one of, if not the only book that's actually by somebody who is a massive worldwide success at content creation in the modern age, this new media stuff that we started 15 or so years ago. It's wild. And so I often find myself feeling like I'm kind of wandering through the forest with a machete, chopping my way through shit I don't know how to do yet. And so it's kind of amazing to have a book like that to come out from somebody who really is on the other side of like, he's at the top. He's the number one streamer in the world. You know, he's number one, and he's the face of video gaming in 2019. So it's pretty amazing to get his perspective on things. And, you know, but real talk, it's kind of bummer that like only one tiny piece of the book is going to be about that part, and the rest of it is about how to get good. Because like, I don't give a shit about that. Yeah.
I'm curious to see what he says, and I'm curious to see how much is actually his own words. You know,
yes,
if, you know, I'd assume there'd be probably some ghostwriting going on there. You know,
probably, but we'll see.
But my thing
There's been a lot of news about how overworked he is, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least some support.
Yeah,
He's probably not like streaming for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever it is, and then also, oh, by the way, spending a few hours a day writing his book. Like, no fucking way.
One of my questions is, how, you know, assuming there's a formula for everything. There's really not. You know, I feel like there's not a formula for everything we do, and to say, hey, this is how you're going to get good. People are going to assume that that's the formula, and it really isn't. You know what I mean? Because
there's no such thing as a recipe for success in this one.
What was that?
Oh, I
said, sorry, go ahead, Burger.
It's all smart choices and dumb luck at some point. It's like, you got to remember that too. Like, he made the greatest choices of all time. He played for it at the right time, and so on and so forth, and he's there. And now some guys like write a book about him. Yeah, look, yeah, but I'm trying to get the whole like idiot's perspective of this stuff, like, oh hey,
Okay. I mean, I feel like in this realm, there's very few things that are actually like binary, good, bad, right, wrong, as far as best practices. There's definitely some stuff like don't call out lurkers, like that kind of stuff. Like there's some very basic, broad, pretty much never a good idea stuff. But as far as like what will get you where you want to be, it's just a giant unending parade of wise or unwise. That's it. And it's very difficult to know what the right choice is because there's not any sort of establishment. You can't submit yourself to the process or join a training program or go to school for or whatever. This is pure entrepreneurship at its core and innovative at that. And so it should be interesting to see what he has to say about that experience.
And please stay tuned to your local Barnes & Noble for Shaka's book, Be Okay, The Ultimate Guide to Gaming and Streaming.
I'm excited. I'd read Shaka's book. I know that for sure.
Same.
Thank you.
When does the book drop, Shaka?
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past myself in 5-10 years time.
Okay, cool.
That might sound self-important, but I love to stuff, and if someone gave me the chance to write about it, I'd fucking take it, man. I love talking about this stuff. It's my favorite subject. I mean, I'm a gamer through and through, and business, if you look at it from a right perspective, is just a big game, except the rewards actually affect the rest of your life instead of your achievement score. And so it's kind of a bunch of fun if you look at it through that lens, like, hey, I'm going to tweak these variables and then I'm going to watch my metrics and see what happens. And, I absolutely have very real win conditions. I'm just going to look at, how engaged my community is, what my stats are, all that stuff. And it's just a giant game, and I'm a gamer, and it's the best game there is. I will say that loud and proud. Business is the best game there is. The end. And so I just love that stuff. Give me any chance to talk about it. Obviously, I'll talk about it.
Just please call your book Be Okay or Get Okay, I guess.
I'm sure that it would be something super on brand like that.
Gotcha. It's cool to be you from ShakkaPanda. All right.
It's okay. Yeah, you're okay too. Yeah.
Should we move on to game releases, guys? Because I feel like we need to talk about that a little bit. So we got three games. We got Age of Wonders Planetfall coming out. We got Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet Complete Edition for the Switch, and finally, the game waiting for 15 years, Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Have you guys heard about Metal Chaos?
Yeah.
So this game is from From Software. That's right, the same that made Dark Souls. A game where you play the President of the United States of America in a giant mech suit.
Is this real? Is this real?
This is a real game. Watch the cutscenes. I just watch the cutscenes.
What's it called again?
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Oh my god, it's real.
Metal Wolf Chaos.
It's real.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's real. Oh, it's an Xbox game, like original Xbox game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so this is an Xbox Classic release. I thought that this was a new release. My bad.
Oh no, this is gonna be a new release because it's now coming to America. It was originally only in Japan. So this is what they thought the American president should be, and I agree because the American president should be in a giant mech. So that's why I'm putting my ticket in this here, guys. Burger 2020. I want to be in a giant mech suit.
Giant mech suit. Oh my gosh!
Listen,
I love how they made like "You're the president of America" giant mech suit, and it never came to America.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Japan.
and your rival in the game is the vice president. So.
Fantastic.
I mean, the game writes itself at some point and has brilliant voice acting, which, dear God, is like, I must do it because I am the president of these United States of America.
I was going to say, I highly doubt that it's got brilliant voice acting.
Dude, I just want to play with the voice acting
Cheesy.
itself.
All your states belong to me.
America.
Well, there was a shark gun in this game, so I was looking at some of the weapons: machine guns, rocket launchers, and a shark gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it shoots sharks, or does it like shoot like teeth or something?
I guess so.
Inquiry minds want to know.
To defeat any foes that impede on the spirit of American patriotism.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is the game I'm playing on the 4th of July next year. Clearly.
Oh, this is the game I'm playing every day because every day is going to be America Day.
This is fantastic.
America!
Oh, dude, yes, I've been waiting for this game for so long. So thank you, Devolver, for finally releasing it.
Oh, Devolver Digital? Oh my god, of course it's Devolver Digital. Love those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Brilliant,
good.
guys. And guys, I want something special this week. We got some free stuff. We're calling it this segment free stuff because who doesn't love free?
Free, it's me, and I'll take 3.
Yeah.
Cool. Epic Store this week, guys. We got For Honor and Alan Wake currently for free. So if you haven't played those 2 yet, get your hands on those ones.
Nice.
You've got Xbox Games with Gold. You get a chance at Gears of War 4 and Torchlight. And if you have PlayStation Plus, you get Sniper Elite 4 and Wipeout Omega Collection.
I'm so into that. I'm going to be playing Wipeout on stream as soon as that comes out. I love those games.
Dude, you
I'm
gotta
curious
get
about Alan Wake. I've never played it. I've seen so many people play it and so many people talk about
Alan
it.
Wake is amazing.
Alan Wake is
I
so
highly
good.
recommend Alan Wake. It's so good.
Knock that one
Yeah,
out.
dude, it's so good. And then if you have Alan Wake, you're definitely going to want to Wake American Nightmare afterwards. It's like a little bit more lighthearted, bit of 80s version. It's like, I don't know if it's exactly the same story, but it's very much uses the same mechanics and stuff. But it's kind of inspired by that sort of fun sort of 80s vibe in comparison to the other one that's like probably like what early 2000s sort of feel.
Gotcha.
You'll love it, dude.
It's a great game.
If you like Twin Peaks, you'll love this game.
Oh, I love Twin Peaks.
Yo, facts. You're gonna love this game then, big time.
Twin Peaks was awesome. But, I remember watching when I was a kid and just being so fascinated with it. And everybody looked at me like a crazy, weird child, but it was such a good show.
I would love to sit down and have you explain to me why it's a good show, because I've tried several times to watch that show and I always burn out because because what ends up happening is it's like, okay, this is just weird for weird's sake. There isn't actually any value or reason for it to be as strange as it is, other than, look how strange I am. And that novelty is just that novelty, at least to me. I know that a lot of people feel differently, and I know that it's a kind of a film geek's favorite sort of thing. So, like, I'm confident I'm just missing something. But from where I was sitting, it's like, okay, so we're just going to be really weird. That's the plan. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Fun fact is that when I watched that, I was younger, and then I watched it a few years ago. We went to Seattle, and directly east of Seattle is a place called Snoqualmie Falls. Mm-hmm. That opening scene in Twin Peaks, where it shows that waterfall, that's Snoqualmie Falls. So when we went there, I started playing the music in the car, and my wife was like, "What are you doing? What is going on here?" But I was playing the theme song in the background as we're going to look at Snoqualmie Falls. So I don't know, I'm just nerdy.
I just stay and watch this. If I play like Paramore, because I always feel like I'm in Twilight, same effect. But that's gonna be it for the new releases and news, guys. We'll be back to news stats next week. Take care.
All right, friends, moving on. This segment of the show is where we take a letter from a gamer out there and discuss the topic that they are requesting. We kind of hopefully answer that question, I guess. We kind of take the question, think about it very quickly, and then we discuss it. So let's continue on that one. This letter came from electronic mail from YOLO Swaglet 23. It's a great name. Great name.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
So did his mom. Great.
Yo, Arcade Raiders. I caught the episode 1 last week. Super dope. Keep up the good work. Hey, man, thanks a ton for that. We appreciate it. This week was the trip. Ninja pledged his loyalty to Mixer. I, for one, am stoked. It'd be straight litty if we got your reactions and feedback on this news. Hashtag Ninja is God tier. Later, skaters.
Liddy,
yeah. That's what
Liddy,
are using, right? Liddy? Isn't that what they're using?
I think it's just lit.
I don't know, man. I get lost with the words and the stuff. So the big news this week on Thursday was that Ninja is moving to Mixer. Today was his first stream. This is Friday. We're recording this episode on. So today was his first stream. I think he was still going the last time I looked. So let's talk about
80,000 something viewers.
Oh, geez. 80,000 something viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shaka, let's get your feedback on this. Let's see what you think.
I have a lot to say about this. You guys sure you guys don't want to go first?
Okay, no, I'll go first. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind talking about this. I thought about it for a while and kind of put it over in my head. I personally welcome the Mixer. I think it's great as a whole for the platform. I think it's great as a whole for streaming. Today was his first stream, and just in a few minutes, he had 67,000 views. That's 67,000 views. I don't know how many of those are absolutely new to Mixer. It could have been 65,000 of those people were absolutely new to Mixer. So I
who
think
knows
that's really
if
good.
it's true or not, but like people in my chat were saying something in the neighborhood of 300,000 new signups in the last, in like 24 hours or so.
Dang.
Jeez. That's a lot.
Now,
That's
who
a
knows
lot.
if that, I mean, it could just be total BS. You never know. It's nothing but hearsay that comes flying to our ears or through our eyes into our brains via chat. And, I don't know if you can really trust it or not. There's no real way to vet it in the middle of a stream or something, but I believe it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It came from internet, dude. It's true. You know it.
Well, honestly, this has put a spark, no pun intended on that word. This has kind of put a spark in me. I thought about it for 2 days. Yeah. I'll be all weeks, folks.
Comedy.
So I think it's put a spark in me to kind of make some more comment. And I've kind of seen it. At first, I was kind of confused. And I was like, what is going on? Is this really true? But then I saw it kind of as kind of a challenge accepted. Like, this big dude is coming to Mixer, and I feel like I have to step my game up a little bit, being the little person that I am in my little corner of my little nook of Mixer. But I spent 30 minutes in his channel yesterday. I just went to his channel, and there was 3,000 or 4,000 people in there. And I spent 30 minutes, and I just started answering questions. I felt like I was helping folks with Mixer Pro. What is Mixer Pro? How do you get signed up for that? How do you sub? I even started talking to people how to change their avatars. And it was really neat. It felt really good. Like, I have all this knowledge of Mixer, and it felt really good to show some new folks around. I don't know the age of these people. I would assume they're a little bit younger, and they just want that quick answer. So the teacher in me just kind of jumped in, was kind of guiding people. But I was
pretty young.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. His demographic is extremely young. And so I started looking at stuff, just kind of get them. I noticed there were a bunch of streamers that kind of jumped on that as well. BU, I'll give a special shout out to BU. She made a video and put it on Twitter of how to change your avatar on the Mixer app.
Nice.
So like I said, it kind of put a spark into me. The only concern I really have is with the increased traffic. What is that going to bring? And how do we continue to maintain a positive environment? That was my biggest question, is because, he brings a little bit of silliness, and that's the nice positive way to put it for me. And then on top of that, Mixer announced a few weeks ago, they're going to try to help curb trolls and make it a safe place. So I think that's really cool that they're going to step in and allow that stuff to happen, to kind of curb some things and help out, make it a safe place and allow reporting and stuff to go on. And my whole thought is, hey, bring it. Let's make this place a great place.
See, and my whole thought was, this is another dude. Like, I'm not too worried about him being here. I'm happy he's here. I am seriously happy. That's great. That's more eyes on Mixer. That's more eyes on our site. And as partners, as streamers, we gotta set the example too. Like, we gotta be like, hey, don't do that on Mixer. You might get banned. Hey, come on, don't be that way. I went through the worst troll experience of my life in like 2 months ago, where I had one guy constantly accounts, and we're just trying to get him off there, calm him down. Nope, kept trolling me away. And I hope that this actually helps improve our standards and like practices of all this stuff. Like, I don't want this, these kids to keep going on, all these little trolls to keep going on, and so on and so forth. As Ninja stands, let him be on Mixer, dude. He's another guy. He's another guy just like me, you, everyone else. He puts his pants on one leg at a time, and probably with $1 million around his waist as well. But I just see all this backlash against one guy switching streaming services. Have you guys seen that stuff on Twitter?
I have to admit, it's been a little bit disappointing to see so many people in Mixer, in the Mixer community, which is generally considered one of the more positive streaming communities on the internet, just absolutely devolve into just a bunch of just afraid, freaked out bitching and moaning. I was bummed, honestly, that our community received that so poorly. There was a lot of people that were really friendly and positive about it, and any of the this may not be the nicest thing to say, but any of the people that I respect, that I would consider a professional peer or potential mentor, they had their head on straight and were not being idiots about it. But a huge amount of the smaller up and coming streamers that are still, I think, figuring out how to navigate the world of streaming, they are in this big scarcity, fear, zero-sum game headspace. That's just not how streaming works. It's at all. And it demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of how this business works. And it's a bummer. You're right. It was kind of crappy to see how they reacted that way.
I welcome him. Again, I think it's great.
We all
I
welcome
think
him
it's
because
cool. I mean, Ninja, if you're listening, I'd welcome you. I'll play Fortnite with you. Let's hang out, man. Let's play some Halo. I did hear another streamer. I won't mention his name, but he commented on how amazing this is, and he's a big Twitch streamer. He said, "This is amazing, guys. This is creating competition."
It
that's Tim the Tap Man.
Yeah. That's
it
not
was Tim
but
Tatman, really?
if he said that, that's awesome. That
Tim is the one that said that. Yeah,
gotcha.
I mean, it was
Perfect.
almost exact words. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's
better
neat.
Tim.
Another Tim.
Better Tim. God.
Better Tim.
The tatted Tim.
The good Tim.
Yeah, no, so creating that, and the only other question I had was who's next? Like, this is exciting,
Yeah,
and this
man.
has encouraged me to want to be better and want to be a positive person on Mixer and talk to people on Mixer and show and coach. Hey, here's how you talk to people, and here's nice things you say, and help everybody, and let's make this place really, really cool, and let's kick some ass.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people coming over there, more expats coming in from Twitch.
Who would you like to see?
Yeah.
Who would you like to see from Twitch? Jump over.
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea because I don't follow. Never have. I legitimately have no idea who almost anybody is on, from like 3 people that are the most ginormous people that they end up, flowing through my, news cycle. But I, and this is not me just being like, because Twitch is stupid. Nah. It's just like, man, I'm too busy to keep up with all that dumb shit. This is something I think a lot of people realize is that once they get deep enough into doing content creation, you don't have time to keep up with the stuff that got you into it in the first place. Because you are so busy making your own content that pretty soon you lose track of what's happening, with a lot of things out there in the culture that, kind of came up in as a fan. And then you transition to sort of the content creation side, even if it's recreational and not business. If you cross a certain threshold of taking it seriously, you pretty much run out of room in your life to pay attention to all the shenanigans elsewhere. And, I learn most of my news through my community and through my moderators because I'm busy and just can't be asked to freaking keep up with all that shit. Just not going to do it, especially like the nuanced little things when it comes to all the different people. And, real talk, I barely watch anybody's streams, and it's not because I'm not interested. I would love to be able to do that, but I don't have any time.
Yeah.
Almost all of my days are 12 to 14 hour days. And it's scheduled and slammed back to back pretty much all the time. So there's no real way for me to do that. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer.
No, you're good. I think you said something there. Shock, you said something there that just hit me real quick, was losing sight. It's easy to lose sight and get confused, but focus on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, focus on you, focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. What's going on? First of all, what's going on a different platform entirely, let alone what's going on with a different streamer, let alone on another platform, is completely irrelevant to me and it's not at all valuable for me to spend my time doing that. And I think it's a big, I don't want to pivot into what we always talk about on my podcast all the time, which is like the nitty-gritty, content creation geeky stuff. And so I'll have to try and be careful not to just spiral off into talking about that, because I always like to do that. But effectively, you're going to cross a threshold at some point where keeping up with that shit is going to be keeping you from getting to the next level. And, ultimately, this is going to be kind of a, this might be a controversial or unpopular thing to say, but like, really, if you are tuned into all of the drama about a bunch of other people and being busy being a fan of a ton of different folks, and all, like, you are preventing yourself from accomplishing what are likely your goals as a content creator. And I think that's something that a lot of people allow to get in the way, is that they're still busy being a consumer instead of a producer. So that's a thing.
Word up. Yeah. I'm making a special note to put a hand clap in there at that moment. To applaud that.
Very good for you.
That's good.
There you go.
And it's good to hear that from other streamers, though, because we are our own person, we are our own producer, like you said, but it's also good every now and then to hear that coming from other streamers, that we're kind of all in that same idea, and I have some streamers that pull me back from time to time. They'll say, "Hey, you're frustrated." I'll tell them, "Yeah, I'm frustrated with this," and they'll be like, "Dude, just don't worry about that. That's outside your sphere of influence. Worry about your own stuff."
Yeah, having a clear picture of where your sort of, I mean, if you want to imagine kind of like ever expanding bubbles around you, if you there's a certain radius within which you have direct control over things, and and then there's a much larger sphere of influence, and I think that we often overestimate our influence, and at the same time often underestimate our influence, kind of for different things.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. No, it's not really worth all the energy it takes to be kept up on all that stuff. And it'll get in the way of you getting where you want to be if you have anything beyond just super casual sort of intentions. Yeah, let me. Are you ready for you to download?
I take it, Shaka, you're not keeping up Kardashians. No way speaking, all that drama.
Who? What? Kardashians?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, that's I was looking at people that actually like inspired me to be a streamer. Like, I've viewed like Cobalt Streak and goddamn like Witwix as like my influences back in the day when I was like watching Twitch. Like, man, I want to be those guys. I want to be those guys like sitting there playing the newest indie or like just like messing around. I would love to see more variety of streamers, in general come over.
I'm confident we're going to get a lot of expats moving over. I think so. And I think like here's my sort of big perspective on Ninja. It's about like 3 or 4 fold. If you're looking for like a top big picture umbrella perspective, it's good. And if you think it's not good, you're not paying attention or you don't understand. Sorry, and the reality is that he, above and beyond any other gaming personality, like I said earlier when we were talking about him and we were talking about his book, he is the face of gaming in 2019. People that don't game know about him big time. I mean, the damn BBC reported on him moving to Mixer. Okay, like it's not just like Kotaku. It's like everybody. The dude's been on late night shows. The dude's been. I mean, he is a real, actual real pop culture celebrity. And when he does something, especially something that's kind of a big upset like this, that brings with it drama and big reactions, that also is big clickbait opportunity. That also is going to be valuable to the people that are going to be looking for views on their sites. And so they're going to be talking about it. And so obviously, when somebody like him does something like this, it brings a huge amount of awareness to that event. And because the event that we're talking about here happens to be him moving to Mixer, that, our biggest problem on Mixer long has been people don't really know about it. Its brand awareness was weak. I can remember a moment where I was driving through Dutch Brothers, which is a coffee place out here in California. I'm sure they have it elsewhere, but I know we might have international listeners. But it's a drive-through coffee spot, and I went up to the window, and the woman that was working there said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm in between streams." She's like, "Oh, are you a streamer?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a full-time streamer." And she's like, "Oh, like Twitch?" And I was like, "No, I'm on Mixer." And she's like, "Oh, I think my boyfriend plays that game." And I about wanted to die. And it's just like, son of a bitch, and we were just talking about how much she loves her Xbox and she's an Xbox girl and all that shit. And it's just like, dude, it's like on one of your home tabs, ma'am. Like, how do you not know what that is? Yeah. So that has long been our primary number one problem is brand awareness. That ended at 1:30 p.m. yesterday. It just did. It's fucking over. Yeah. Now that is not a thing. People know what Mixer is. That right there is a big enough deal for this to be a completely dynamic sea change for this business, for the business of Mixer. But it doesn't end there. It does not end there at all. He also brings with him his own audience and a bunch of looky-loos and people that are curious as well. And that may or may not be the most, or that may or may not be the least valuable piece of it, honestly, because I don't see myself having a ton of crossover with his demographic, really. I mean, personally. But let's be real. The amount of people, the kind of amount of people that he sort of commands the attention of, that many people, there's no way that there's not going to be some sort of trickle down viewing, essentially, from him bringing them in. And so not only are we going to get a ton of attention and it's no longer an issue that people don't know what the hell Mixer is in the first place. That's not a problem anymore. And then in addition to that, he's bringing people over with him that are fans and whatnot, and we'll get trickle down views from that. But then above and beyond this, because of what this is doing and will do to the platform, people are starting to look at Mixer right now as a strike while the iron's hot situation. So we're going going to get also just a deluge of new streamers that may or may not have anything to do with him at all. But just because he created an opportunity and there will be a surge in viewership, that's an opportunity for somebody to make their way in this streaming world. And so people are going to be jumping on this thinking, I'm going to buy beachfront property before it's Malibu, you know, which is obviously like what we've been rolling the dice on for almost 3 years now, at least for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we've been basically like trying to get ourselves positioned and comfortable and then just wait for the price of or the price of the land to go up. And that's all we've been doing. And that, because like, let's be real, the amount of viewers that Mixer has had yesterday before 1:30 p.m. At the time of this recording was never enough to actually support like most of our dreams for most of us. Like, that's just real. It was just never enough people. We were having to wait for the platform to develop to a place where it could actually provide the kind of support and viewership and therefore income and therefore sustainability for us to actually be able to be full-time professional streamers. And
early
that
investors.
is not 100%. So we've been early investors, and now there's an entirely new just wave of people that are going to be thinking the same thing. And, you know, as far as we're concerned, they're late to the party, but they're not really late to the party.
No.
And so it is an opportunity for to strike while the iron's hot. So then we've got them coming from there. So coming for brand awareness, we've got people coming for Ninja, and we've got people coming because it's an opportunity to strike while the iron's hot. And I think in addition to that, we're going to see people looking at Mixer as a legitimate other option than other streaming platforms. And so before, when people would be like, oh, fuck this, I'm leaving and going to Mixer, it was always a joke. Mixer was literally a joke in the other streaming worlds. That's not a thing anymore. That's all of a sudden like, fuck this, I'm going to Mixer. And like, that could actually be a real thing that we're going to start seeing. People getting like hands up in the air, I'm done with this shit with other platforms. Mixer is now an actually reliable, actually viable place for them to go. So it's on so many levels. This is, and I really believe this is the wave, the big, giant, freaking tsunami of a wave that we have been patiently wading in the ocean and paddling towards for years. And if we take advantage of it, and we're very well positioned as partners to take advantage of it and rise with the tide, as it were, you know, this could be the beginning of many of us who've been really diligently working at this to take advantage of this influx of viewership and actually achieve what we've always wanted all along, and Mixer just never had the attention for. Yeah. So it could be a really giant opportunity. It's gonna be a really giant opportunity. So I'm excited about it.
And you can't stop now. Those folks listening, work, get at it. You know, this is
property now.
Yeah.
I'm building beautiful property, and all of a sudden this typhoon's coming. My beautiful property is destroyed. That's what Shakka's telling me. That's what I got from that.
No, dude, I think you hit it on the point. You said viable and Mixer in the same sentence, and I've been waiting so long to hear that, you know? And
dude. Well, I mean, we never knew where it was going to come from, but we always knew we were just waiting and hoping and doing everything we can to use the resources that we have and the opportunities that we have to get as good of a foothold as possible, because now the mountain is raising up out of the ground and it's just crazy, man. Like what I mean, like the influx of viewership, the records that are being broken, the attention globally that we're getting in conventional, actual pop culture, real ways, mundane, non-gaming ways. I mean, all the normies know what Mixer is as much as they know what Twitch is, because Twitch's #1 superstar moved, and it's like upset, and so everybody's talking about it. It's crazy. Like this, I mean, who knows what's happening? But I've long said, like, this is the kind of business that doesn't really have a glass ceiling, or not glass ceiling. It doesn't really have a ceiling. Glass ceiling is a completely different term. Sorry, wrong term. This is the kind of thing that doesn't really have a ceiling. If you play your game, you play your cards right, you know, there's so much opportunity in the content creation world, but we've been waiting for Mixer to actually rise up to a place where it can actually support that. And I think this could be it. And I've long said, like, who knows, maybe this is the kind of business where my life could be completely different next year. You know, this time next year, I could be hugely different financially, you know, where I'm living, what I'm up to, the tools I have access to, like all that shit could be completely different if you can really take off and explode. And people really do that. You hit a tipping point and then pow, it goes up.
Yeah.
And so like, I really think that this could be that moment for us. And if we take advantage of it and we are diligent and hardworking and don't give up and continue to invest in all of the same values that got us where we are and continue to, you know, trim the fat and get rid of bad habits and practices that have been slowing us down and getting in the way of us achieving our dreams, you guys, it's this. I mean, it's basically like if anybody can do it, we can do it. That's the situation we're in right now. If it's basically ours to screw up. Like this is the best opportunity we could possibly have as a content creator in this moment of now, for to be already on Mixer, already entrenched, already with an existing community, already at least to some degree known in the community, and partners. It's just this is the gold rush, guys. Here we go. It's on. That's my thoughts.
No, I think that's perfect. I think you said it just right.
Yeah.
Shaka, you'd be a great football coach.
You would.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You're adding to my motivation. I felt motivated. I felt excited about this, the past couple of days, and you're adding to my excitement. And I think that's one.
You put your business brain on, man. This thing, it's nuts. It's nuts. And let me just kind of put a final punctuation on this. I'm going to talk directly to the people that are currently feeling like he's going to steal all their views, or he's going to turn the entire place toxic. Like everybody that's feeling like nervous that it's going to screw up what they were trying to create, and that he's somehow encroaching upon their perfect little plan to become a successful Mixer partner or whatever. Like that, you are currently being controlled by your fear, my friends. And fear is never a good place to make decisions from. It's just not. It's just not. It's useful. It's useful to be aware of when something is dangerous. That's what fear is for. But just making decisions as a channeling to, like, fear should never take the driver's seat. It should be informing you. It's one of your advisors. The end. And you guys are allowing your fear and your sense of scarcity as in there's not enough for everyone, and so I got to, because if they get theirs, I can't get mine. Like, that is a fundamentally incorrect way to understand this. Just because somebody is following and subscribed to and regularly patronizes AttackBurger or Skyrobi or anyone else does not preclude them from doing the same for me or several other people. It is fundamentally misunderstanding the way this ecosystem works to think that, it's like, well, there's only so much pizza, and if someone eats it all, it's gone, so I better eat as many as I can. It's like, this is not what's happening. This is not how it works. And you are allowing your fear to control you, and that never ends well. So I challenge you, my friends, to have a little faith in yourself and to stop letting your fear run your shit, because it's not going to point you in the right direction, you guys. It's just not. It's just not. And if you are feeling like you're not getting successful because someone else is taking what's rightfully yours for some reason you feel is rightfully yours, you are never going to make it anyway. Real talk. Sorry. That's just the truth. If that's how your brain works and you're busy, you have to evolve beyond that thinking. I don't mean you never would have made it ever. I mean, continuing to think that way will stop you from making it, and you will have to evolve beyond that thinking to make it. I believe anybody can make it. People are pure potentiality. I'm not here to try and discourage anybody at all. But if you continue to let that thinking run you, you will not get what you want. So,
well said.
Pull your heads out of your collective ashes, my friends.
Thank you.
So yellow swag lit 23. There you go.
Booyah!
Stay in
Strike
school.
while the iron's hot, swag. Strike while the iron's hot.
That's right.
Stay in school. Eat your vegetables.
All right, friends. So let's move on. The last segment of the show here, which we like to call What's Tickling Your Funny Bits. Each week, we like to discuss any old or new games that are coming out or our backlog or that we're currently playing that are actually tickling our funny bits. In other words, that we're enjoying. Shaka, so what games are tickling your funny bits as of late?
Kind of an assortment of things. Something that I have a couple games that I always keep installed on my computer that I go back to and I treat as like chill games, where it's like, I don't know what I want to play right now. I just want to chill out. And my community likes those things. And so something that's pretty much perpetually something that is tickling my funny bits is Stardew Valley.
So good.
It's such a just peaceful, delightful, lovely thing. So that one's fun. But honestly, like kind of the new contender that's really, that's really sort of got my attention right now is No Man's Sky again, which is interesting considering that I've kind of come in and out of love with that game. When it first came out, I actually made a video on YouTube shitting all over it because it didn't run right on PC, and I was pissed. Anyway, and I'm not pulling that video down. I was right at that time.
You were right. I agree.
But anyway, like for those of you that aren't familiar with No Man's Sky came out to a lot of, a lot of hate because it had overpromised and hella underdelivered. And it has since overdelivered above and beyond anything that they had ever even talked about doing before.
Yeah.
And we're yet again about to get yet another update. In fact, an update was just today confirmed that it's going to be happening in August. And the update this time around, there's a bunch of other stuff that's involved in it, and I'm not going to get into the details. Kind of like, holy shit, you guys, you keep innovating, and you're fundamentally changing things from the ground up to be able to allow us to do cool new shit. They are bringing to it fully featured hand tracking VR. Like, put you on your freaking your Oculus Rift, get your touch controllers, and then you are inside the game. You can move it's the whole thing. They've built it from the ground up to be able to do that this time. Well, not from the ground up, but with this update, they are actually creating a complete VR experience instead of it being like a little tech demo or sort of tacked on and you have to use a controller and you can just sit in your chair and look around in VR, sure, but you're still using a controller. No, it's a full-on as though it was made for VR in the first place update. And everything I've read about it, it looks like this is like the kind of VR experience we've long been waiting for. And I'm particularly excited because the game is huge and there's tons of stuff to do, and you're essentially never going to run out of stuff to do. And that's a huge problem with VR games, because I don't know if you guys are, but those damn games are like 3 to 5 hours most of the time if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So to get a fully featured, realized game that allows you to do all the things and has, actual hand tracking integration so that your hands feel like you're in the world and, room scale movement, that's actually essentially as long as you want, but easily one playthrough could be 50, 60 hours. That's amazing. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And I just recently got my room set up to be able to have a kind of L-shaped green screen so that I would be able to have VR streaming. And so just getting that going, people really liked it the first time I did it. I think that's going to become a regular part of my routine. And No Man's Sky coming out with VR soon. I downloaded it again, started a fresh character, and am reacquainting myself with the game. And there's a lot of stuff that I never learned about or have done because there's been so many updates. And so I'm just really pumped about that right now. So that's kind of my main one.
That sounds awesome. You're right in thinking that when I first saw that game when it was first coming out, I was like, this has got to be in VR. This is going to be the best VR game ever made. We all expected it was going to be the PSVR game. That's what we were all thinking at the time. We're like, there's no way that this isn't going to be the PSVR system killer thing. Because, remember, this was Sony was super incestuously involved in the production of it. Or at least in some way, because I think they premiered it at Sony's stage and they seem to have a relationship with Sony somehow. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, this is years ago, but people were all like, "Oh man, that's totally a PSVR game." Oh yeah, just you wait. PSVR is going to come out and they're going to be like, "And No Man's Sky, the killer app for PSVR," and it came out and it was not only a not VR killer app, it was just not a killer app. yeah, pretty much.
No, It was a very rough launch. I remember that too. I bought it day one as well.
Man.
It was horrible. I need a hug after playing that game.
It is absolutely incredible now. Absolutely incredible now. It's so good.
It was my biggest surprise last year. I wrote it down.
And if it released in this state, it would have gotten 9s. No question. Oh, yeah.
Would have been game of the year somewhere.
Probably. And that's not even considering the update that's about to come out. Experiencing recently, this is what I wanted and then some. If it was anything even approaching what it is now, back then, I would have been so happy with it. So it was practically just a tech demo when it first came out with procedurally generated shit. You just kept doing the same dumb thing over and over again. You got to the middle of the universe and it starts the game over. That's the end. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But dude, it's so exciting. So yeah, that's No Man's Sky is tickling the funny bits.
I like it. Burger, what's tickling your funny bits?
Well, you remember last week I pretty much got punched in the funny bits by Marvel, and I need a palate cleanse so bad. So I started with Cadence of Hyrule. And if you guys ever played one of my favorite games of all time, Crypt Neck Dancer, it's just like that, but it's all
Crypt
Zelda.
Necro Dancer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome
Zelda
music,
style? Nice.
But Zelda style. It's like, oh my god, Zelda music, and you're just going the rhythm, bench around, getting items. It's a great time. And I was like, okay, that's clean the palate a little more. What else you got? Then I wanted something stupid, dumb, fun. I asked for like one of my community members, like, hey, I want something stupid, dumb, fun. What do you guys got for me? They recommend War Tech Fighters, which is a giant mech game. Already I'm talking more mechs, guys. I mean, come on. So, yeah, it's pretty much...
Noticing a pattern here.
I love my giant robots, Kay. Okay, you gotta say more? You give me a giant robot that blows up stuff, I'm like, I love you, giant robot dad. And you just fly around in space. This is a nice little, like, it was an $8 game. And I was like, okay, this is definitely, like, feeling it. Because, you know, it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors in space a little bit.
Dynasty Warriors in space is mechs? That sounds awesome.
That does sound kind of cool.
A little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely give it a mess around with. I bought it like, on cheap on Home Bundle, which is a nice pickup. And, I mean, the voice is terrible. The voice is terrible.
On Steam, I'm assuming, right?
It's on Steam. Steam and Xbox as well.
Gotcha.
So, pick it up if you guys want to. And then I decided to have more final palette cleanser with some Final Fantasy XIV. And I'm loving that game. I can finally be a cat person that punches things. I am like, yes, sold. If you guys haven't played this game yet, give this game a try. They just released new Spanish pack a while ago, and it's pretty fun. I love it. Definitely a fun adventure. And a funny story about that. I was playing with one of my mods, Foxy Poison. Shout out to that guy. And he was playing his wonderful girl character, and he accidentally catfished someone. So someone was giving him like high-level loot stuff, and he was selling it off because they thought like he was a girl. So moral story is,
that's so funny.
That's
play a girl character.
Yeah.
That is not the first time I've heard a story like that.
No,
I know, right? I was like, dude, that guy is thirsty as hell. Give me his high-level stuff. I don't know why. Like, wrong with it. Catfish.
Remember on early like vanilla WoW and back before they had some of the more convenient modern ways to traverse the ginormous map, it was not uncommon for people to use the underground subway system-y thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that it's funny because I heard several stories from my friend who had a female character who was a guy, like my friend's a guy, and but his character was female, and he would get hit on the train like regularly.
It's like New York City for a guy.
I know, dude. It's like real freaking life.
It's like, hey girl, how's it going?
It's like shit like that for real. Look, yo, you want to party up? It's just like, oh my god, get out of here.
Can I have your digits? But Sky, what is tickling your funny bits?
This week I started playing Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a good time with that. We're about 3 hours into it. I've been co-streaming with Dr. Level Up. We do that once a week to kind of
nice.
To play kind of a co-op game. It's interesting. We actually at a few points had to turn down the difficulty. So it got pretty difficult at some points. I've noticed that the bosses aren't all like, it has RPG aspects, so you can level your character, you can do different attributes, you can gear them towards more health, more armor, you can choose their weapons, their throwing weapons. So it does have some RPG aspects to it, and we're kind of finding that we do need to somewhat level up. Because if we don't, we're running into beating some of the bosses. So we actually had to tune down the difficulty on a few of the bosses because it's getting pretty challenging.
Bummer. So, I'd also heard that there's like weird repetitive quests, and you've got supposedly like dailies and shit and
dailies.
And things respawn too. Like we ended up dying, not really dying, because you can save your life basically. It's just kind of weird. If you're both down and the timer goes away, but you kind of recover life and you bounce back up real quick and you get so much of that. But we noticed that we kind of got a little lost in the map. So we ended up kind of circling back in one area and everything had respawned. And we were like, wow, that's
you.
Yeah, no. So it's not the typical Wolfenstein game. The characters, Sophie and, oh gosh, is it Jess? I think it's Jess. They're really funny because they act like kind of older teenagers that have been raised on a farm, but their dad is, BJ Blazkowicz. Yeah. So he teaches them how to like hunt rattlesnakes with their hands and stuff like that. So it's awesome.
So like, how do they make sense of him being able to raise them? Because at the end of the first game, he dies.
Spoilers.
So that game is so old. If you actually give a shit about the spoilers, then you would have already found out. I do not feel bad about that.
So so he's around, kind of. But it has a bunch of flashbacks and stuff, so it does go through some of that. I don't find the graphics particularly beautiful. they seem
bummer, because the other
plain.
games were beautiful.
Oh yeah, this one seems plain. It's still good. It just seems a little plain to me. The gameplay is pretty good. It's pretty fast. It's playing pretty speedy, almost like Doom fast. Like I am moving around super fast, and it took me about an hour to get adjusted to it. But I did. So I'm playing that. More Fire Emblem Three Houses. Oh my gosh, this game could potentially be game of the year. It's just so much there. So deep. The story's so good. The character, development is so good. And then of course I'm playing a mobile game, so don't make fun of me. I'm still playing Lego freaking Tower. Yeah.
Sorry. If there's not buttons, it ain't a video game. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. Well, I heard it on another podcast. I was like, that's kind of fun. And then I started playing it. Now I'm addicted to it. And I spent $8 on it today. So that's fine.
Skyrobi.
I mean, I've put at least 10 hours into it and I've spent $8. I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. It's whatever you want.
I judge money investment to time spent the same way that I judge money investment to time spent, or I judge money investment to time spent, that ratio in video games. I judge it the same way that I do with. And if I'm comfortable spending $10 to $15 for 2 to 3 hours of fun, as far as I'm concerned, $10 for an hour or two, like I'm perfectly comfortable. So, if I get 12 hours out of a game and I bought it for $60, that's $60 well spent as far as I'm concerned.
100% I agree. And I'm just happy, people are happy at whatever they want to, so.
Totally. Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, hey, friends, it's a great time to be a gamer, I feel, and we're fixing to hit a pretty busy season.
Facts. Yeah.
Yes.
True.
So my advice right now is whatever's tickling your funny bits, you need to clear your backlogs pretty quick and prepare for that September and October, because it's going to be really big.
Gonna get real.
Well, friends, that does it for our time this week on the Arcade Raiders podcast. Remember, our goal here for this particular podcast is to deliver kind of our silly, unique perspective on the video game world, what we're playing, and of course, random musings and discussions. This is the time in any podcast where we sell out. So we're going to let the good folks of the interwebs know where we can find each other. And we'll start with you, ShakkaPanda. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on mixer.com/ShakkaPanda. I'm ShakkaPanda on Instagram, Snapchat, and on YouTube. You can find me under Shakka Plays as well on Facebook. Same thing. And then, of course, you can go to ShakkaPanda.com to get all of that and more.
Including his podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes, of course. Then, sorry, I'm used to plugging myself on my own podcast, and so it's redundant to plug the podcast. Sorry.
The podcast.
Yes. So we do a podcast that's basically a creative conversation, deep dive into content creation of all kinds. Obviously with an emphasis on streaming. And it's my friend Ben Burns and I. Ben, of course, of Abstraction Music, and just a savage music producer, live streamer, just an awesome guy. Lots of really fascinating insight. Video game developer as well. So we fit together like puzzle pieces. I've got a lot of experience and expertise in some things, and he has a lot of experience and expertise in other things, and they're in different things often. And so we really come together to be a bit of a powerhouse of interesting things to say and have a really fun time, and often get into deep, geeky discussions regarding content creation. For example, last week we talked all about monetizing your podcast and got deep into real talk about, all kinds of stuff when the stigma of talking about money in podcast or in gaming. The money side of content creation, the stigma of talking about it, different income streams you can have, best practices to protect yourself from getting caught with your pants down, all that kind of stuff. And so we dig deep. So if you're a content creator and you would like to dig deep and maybe get some good advice or ideas, or if you got topics you'd like for us to cover or something, ShakkaandPals.com. That's SHAKKA and pals.com. Or just search that same thing anywhere podcasts are available. Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, all that stuff. We are everywhere.
Perfect. Burger, sell out, man.
I'm sorry, I'm shaking my fist at Ben Burns for creating Color Jumper. But you guys can find me at mixer.com/tapper. I play lots of different games. You guys know me as pretty much the most random Fridays all the time. You can find me on Twitter at Tapper somewhere. I'm posting here more regularly now, I guess, more than last time. And you can find me on Instagram.com. That's at Tapper as well. You can see pictures of my beautiful cat, the good old jerk cat. Y'all love that cat. That cat's amazing. I love him.
Jerk cat.
Hey guys, I'm Skyrobi. You can find me again streaming several times a week on .com/Skyrobi on Instagram and Twitter as Mr. Skyrobi. And folks, that does it. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed the show, please show us some love. Give us some feedback. Give us some comments. We'd love to hear. And until next time, enjoy your games, and we'll see you next week.